Pull up the curtains.
Turn on the lights.
It's gonna have glamour.
Shining bright.
This is the show.
The very best kind.
Is everybody feeling fine? There ain't no business like show business, baby.
Show
It is showtime. We're
and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a good time. Each and every one.
What is it like each day when you go onto the set and prepare to do your acting and your role?
Well, our incredible art director, Joe Lucky, really makes it easy for the actor to feel like he's in that world and in India. So, the preparation for me is to walk onto set, look around and smell. There's even, we have spice vendors and such, so you smell the smells and you see the sights and you're there, you're transported.
So he actually helps you really kind of get the inspiration for the reality of your moment.
And he just clutters the world with such detail and such love and such color. So it's an easy world to play in.
I know a lot of what takes place happens in the office, but do you have a favorite set that you really feel partial to?
It's the alleyway outside of the office. My favorite set. Hundreds of extras come in all the time to populate that street, and it really comes alive on screen. It's amazing.
Do you feel like you've learned something about India just from the experience of being on the show?
I do, yeah. And thanks to Joe, I feel like I live there now.
I'm right in the middle, actually, of designing the World of Oz for another Disney film with Sam Raimi.
Is it an actual adaptation of the story of The Wizard of Oz?
It's actually a prequel.
Okay.
It's called Oz, the Great and Powerful. And I think I better leave that one alone, but it's another world and a fantastic script. Having a ball.
What is it like, especially when you're going into a fantasy world such as Avatar, when you first get that script and you're first thinking about how to bring it to life and the type of elements to incorporate into it?
It's always different. I think I've always somehow I guess had a dream wish list of things that I would like to do, and somehow I've been fortunate enough to get these back-to-back-to-back films which require entire worlds that have to be created. So I was really, every trick in the book and every idea that I've had since I was a kid, they come from dreams or other, inspired by other stories or, for instance, in Avatar, I remember I loved dreams where I was flying, and that became a big part of the feeling of what we tried to create for some of those aerial sequences. That as an example. But I'm very fortunate because not everybody, and there's a lot of talented people out there, get the opportunity to sort of dump out the bag and use everything you got.
I just immerse myself in every era that's brought my way, and I just dive into all the research and thoroughly get into it. In this case, I went to Fort Smith, Arkansas to find out what the real thing is, and I always do that. I like to go to the place and sniff around and see what's happening, and I find that all the answers are right there within the real environment for where it happened. So I just prepared myself to not watch any of the old westerns and make something sort of different, and I think we achieved that in True Grit.
Right.
It's not a typical western. It is a western, but it's not a typical western. It's something different. I don't know, people calling it an eastern. Maybe it is an eastern. Tried to bring the period to life as best I could. I wasn't shying away from something that would be, later on in the history of our country. I wasn't that historically correct. If it looked good, I would put it in there, but I didn't try to. I wasn't militant about that 1875. I just wanted to really enhance the script in the best way that I can, and it's tough to plug in all these things in a movie, be it in Undertakers or in a town or in the woods. or at a outpost. You know, it's like there's some liberties that you have to take to visually make a movie interesting. It is a lot. It is very monochromatic, the whole movie, but there's some color in there, especially at the end when you get to the Memphis part. But I know that this color, there's all the research to get of black and white photos of 1875, but there was a lot of color in there. So I, tried to put some greens and some maroons and some reds and some tones in there, just to say that the West was not all black and white.
Are you presenting an award
I
tonight?
am, for a fantasy feature film.
Do you have a favorite set?
Well, I have a few thoughts on that. One is that Fantasia was a bar that actually exists in Long Beach. So we spent the first 2 seasons in Long Beach. It's really, really, really nice that HBO built it on a stage for us. But I spend so much time there that it's really fun for me to get to branch out and go to Merlot's, the exteriors on the Warner Brothers lot. I don't know if I should be telling people where all these things are, but it's fun for me to branch out and go to Bill Compton's house and Sookie's house.
Very nice.
Just like variety.